Greetings, this is Fallen Heart. Now, I'm a fat fuck, okay? I'm a fat fuck. And I'm a fat fuck because I make bad choices and I don't exercise, like, pretty much at all outside of walking. I enjoy walking. I've said this before, exercise does not give me those happy hormones that everyone has been telling me for years that it does. No, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So what happens is, when I do exercise, I will never do what I think I should be able to do, and it makes me hate myself, right? I hate exercise. It makes me fucking hate myself because I can never do what I think I should be able to do. Now, does that mean that exercise is something I would not recommend to people? Absolutely fucking not, because I am the exception. For most people, it does release those happy hormones. It does benefit you in a multitude of ways outside of just physical appearance. Like, you will get healthier most of the time for most people, right? But I am the exception that proves the rule. I've been having a back and forth with someone over the last few days, and they've become noticeably emotional, at least in any tone that text might have, right? It's obvious that they've got a bit of a problem, and they're projecting that in the conversation. I am not a fan of how the consensus for things with food has gone from essentially one extreme of everything but salads is bad for you to literally everything is pretty much exactly the same. Glass of Coke, glass of water, pretty much exactly the same. Steamed vegetables versus a cake, pretty much exactly the same. You just eat whatever, it's fine. You know, and I'm really not a fan of this kind of thing, because it feels like giving up. We've gone from over-restrictive to having no standards, right? Because it feels like with everything these days, it doesn't matter what it is, people only work in extremes. And in saying, my argument is that some food is bad for you. It just is. Some food is inherently bad for you, and some food is inherently good for you, right? Now, if you have a balanced diet and live a generally healthy lifestyle, you can have the things that are objectively bad for you and get away with it. But they're not really good for you. They're not good for you just because you have a balanced diet. They're just passable. You can get away with doing it, right? So it's not a judgment call by me saying some foods are inherently bad for you. I'm not judging you for having them. I'm just stating the fact some foods are inherently bad for you. You can have them. It's just a good idea to have them in moderation and on top of living a healthy lifestyle with a balanced diet. Because if you don't, well, you become a fat fuck like me. And I'll tell you, it's not fun. It's not fun. I feel this weight on me all the time. I lost a lot of weight a few years ago. I went down to about 11.10 or like 12.2, right? I teetered around that kind of bracket for a while. And when I lost that weight, I went down from like 24 stone. I lost shoe size, believe it or not. I went from 14.5 to 12 because there was so much fat around my ankles. My sleep improved, my energy levels improved, my mood improved. Generally speaking, my taste improved. I actually enjoyed food more because it tasted better because I wasn't having so much sugar and shit. Like, being healthy improved my life. So how come I've gone back down to this? Because I have problems with food. I comfort eat, and I'm lazy. And whenever I'm fucking just out of energy completely, I'll just go to lazy eating. I'll go to something lazy, something that doesn't require any effort whatsoever, and typically speaking, those things are generally not very good for you. I've been making poor choices, and I've not been exercising as much because I fucking hate exercising, and I just can never keep up with it outside of the walking, right? But the difference between me and a lot of people these days is I admit, like, yeah, it's me. Now, I can say, well, things are harder for me because I'm autistic, and that means I have burnout. And when I have burnout, I really don't have the energy to dedicate to this, and this. But it's still me. I'm not using the autism as an excuse. I'm using it as an explanation. You know, I have problems with food. Like, I comfort eat. I eat to feel better. And that, again, isn't being like, oh, have sympathy for me, that means I shouldn't try. No, it means I have a problem, right? And I don't hate myself for saying that. I don't hate myself for recognizing that, but apparently a lot of people do. A lot of people just outright cannot admit flaws on their own back without also hating themselves. And we see this a lot within the fat acceptance movement. People seem to have to choose between being fat is, like, going to result in your death within, like, the next few seconds, and you're hideous and ugly and a horrible person, and everything about you is pure evil, or being fat is perfectly healthy and it's just another type of body. Like, the reality is being fat is, in 90-odd% of cases, self-inflicted, and it's difficult to lose it, but you're better off losing it. Doesn't mean you're a shitty person at all, and it doesn't even mean you're unattractive. Less attractive than you could be, yes, but doesn't mean you're ugly, a piece of shit. Losing it is inherently going to be better for you. It just is. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's fucking not. I've been there, and now I need to do it again. Because I've faltered in the past few years. But it is better for you. But again, you don't need to hate yourself, and shitting over fat people and treating them like trash has never resulted in them losing weight. In fact, if anything, if they've got similar problems to me, it will result in them gaining it more, right? Personally speaking, I hate it when people blow smoke up my ass, right? I know I've gained weight. I've gone up, like, several waist sizes. I've needed to buy new clothes because I've gained weight. I feel worse. I'm sleeping worse. I feel like I'm carrying an extra weight around with me all the time, and my stamina isn't as good. I'm noticing the fucking difference, but the amount of people that go, oh, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not fat. Don't bullshit me. I know you're just trying to be nice. I know you're just relying on, you know, the same instinct. Oh shit, we can't say anything negative about someone, so we need to lie. And saying someone is, like, admitting that someone is fat is saying something negative. Not if it's true. Like, agreeing that I am fat and I need to lose weight is not insulting me. And that's part of the problem right there. Refusing to accept that someone is fat, inherently viewing that as an insulting thing or a negative thing to say, it's like, no. If I'm fat, I need to lose the weight. It's not an insult. It can be framed as an insult, but it's not inherently an insult. It's just a statement of fact. I was around a friend's house a few months ago, because they typically come to mine, and one of my friends asked him, am I fat? And he said no, but he's the kind of person, like most people, who avoid conflict. So that friend then asked me, am I fat? And I'm like, yeah, so am I. It's just a statement of fact. He is. I am. It's just a statement of fact. It's not an insult. It's just a statement of fact. I don't think lesser of him for it. Although if he lost it, I'd be fucking happy for him. I'd be proud of him, because I know how fucking difficult it is. But I'm not going to push him into that. I'm not going to berate him until he goes that. Why can't we just do this? But essentially, this person obviously has some kind of issue with food, where if they eat anything that their brain thinks this is bad for you, they have a panic attack and they feel really guilty. Like, serious mental health issues, right? And their argument is that we can't say food is good or bad for you because of people like her. And in my mind, I hear that as basically saying, well, we can't say walking is good for you because some people can't walk. And it's just like, no, that's really, really stupid. The majority of people are under Group A, and this rule applies to them. Groups B, C, or D are the exceptions that prove that rule. If you are under that one of those other categories, you are not most people. We are not talking about you. This does not apply to you. Calm the fuck down. You have your own problems to deal with, but your problems do not discredit the fact that some things are inherently good for you and some things are inherently bad for you. Case in point, my issues and exercise. Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I can never exercise to any degree without me thinking I should have done better. It makes me hate myself. Like, the last time I really did it, I ended up fucking in tears because I felt like shite. I felt horrible. I felt like a weak, pathetic piece of shit because I couldn't do what I think I could do. Turned out that what I was doing was actually way above what I should have been doing. That's the thing with YouTube stuff. It's like, they'll say beginners or easy, But it's like somebody that eats a lot of spicy food telling you something isn't spicy. You have it and it burns your fucking mouth off. Because unlike them, you haven't killed your taste buds with constant levels of heat. If you're someone that's used to doing a lot of exercise, it's a daily thing, it's part of your lifestyle, then what you consider to be basic and easy is not what some unhealthy fat piece of shit like me is going to think is basic and easy. That's a problem with a lot of these YouTube things, right? So I did Pilates. This is the last time I properly tried to exercise. I did Pilates, and what I was doing was way above beginner shit. And I did it. And because it was beginner shit, I'm like, I'm a piece of shit. Like, I am weak, I am pathetic, I should be doing way better than this. And I hated myself. I fucking hated myself. It really kicked off my depression again. And I just felt terrible. That's what exercise does to me. Even finding out that what I did was actually fucking impressive, because that is way beyond what I should have been able to do. It didn't change the fact of how I felt in that moment, and in general, it just didn't change that. Now, does this mean exercise is bad for you? No, it doesn't. I am in category B, C, or D. I'm not in the major category that applies to everyone else. So even though it doesn't apply to me, as a general rule, exercise is good to people. So what happens when everyone keeps telling me, oh, you need to do exercise, it releases happy hormones, it makes you feel better? I just say to them, that's generally true. As a general rule, that's true, but it doesn't apply to me. And I explain why. But this person is like, no, you can't say that, because when I eat something that's bad for me and I admit that it's bad for me, then I have panic attacks. Well, that doesn't mean that what you're eating is good for you. It simply means that you can't cope with the reality and you have some severe word association mental health issues. You're the problem here, not the language, right? And I'm not saying this to be a dick. Again, I'm the problem when it comes to the exercise, not the exercise. I'm the problem. But again, this is just something people struggle to admit. People just struggle to admit that they're the problem. Everything is society's fault, or some other fucking group, or... I mean, sometimes it is. Society's fucking stupid a lot of time. There's a lot of corruption out there. You know, people study, these governments and corporations study human psychology in order to best coerce people into doing things, right? It's like, how many people with a sweet issue, like issues with sugar, how many of you struggle when you're going out when you're going to a checkout at the aisle and you see like the chocolate lined up by the till, right? They do that for that very reason. It's cheap, it's easy to just grab and throw on your in your shopping on the conveyor belt thing. It's very easy to do that. That is done in that particular way because it plays into human psychology. The way the society is set up does not help, but it doesn't mean it's society's problem. Sorry, it doesn't mean it's society's fault that you are the way you are. There's several factors, a multitude of factors that go into making a person who they are. So it's not entirely on you, but it's also not entirely on society, right? So the way I am, certain things make you harder. You know, things like ordering in food. The fact that something I have a weakness for is in a building that I go to on a daily basis. I run errands for my dad quite a bit, and in running errands for my dad, I end up going to a local corner shop. This corner shop contains pasta meals that I fucking love and could eat about 6 or 7 of them in a day. So the fact that I go there pretty much every day running errands for him means that I'm facing what's the word I'm looking for? Temptation on a daily basis. And sometimes I give in to that temptation. And sometimes I'm like, no, okay, but it's a temptation every single time. And it's not just bad for my health, it's bad for my bank account, because these pasta meals are like £2 or £3 fucking something per thing. They're not cheap. They're damn fucking good, but they're not cheap. So whenever I give in to temptation, I'm not only like destroying my health, but I'm wasting money. So certain factors of where I live and how the world is set up doesn't help, but ultimately it's on me. And again, when I say this, even when I say things like I'm a fat piece of shit, that's just generally how I talk. I'm not beating myself down with that. I'm not hating myself when I say that. I'm just like, yeah, I'm fat. That's it, right? You'll know when I beat myself down because I'll be like I was with that exercise. I will be an emotional fucking wreck. That's what happens when I beat myself down. But as a general statement of fact, it's like, that's not beating myself down. Saying that I am part of the problem is not beating myself down. And this is the issue I'm having with a lot of this modern discourse around things. It's like, oh, fat acceptance. It's like, okay, it's not just a matter of being like, you shouldn't hate yourself regardless of circumstances. You should love yourself and want the best for yourself. That's the ideal, right? Fat acceptance is everything is fine. It's not my problem. Everyone should just lie to me and tell me that I'm healthy. Everyone should just lie to me and tell me that I'm sexy. It doesn't matter if I look like a grounded goddamn friggin' sperm whale that's been, like, injected with God knows how many pounds of helium. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, I am a sex goddess and I am the pinnacle of health. And then dies at the age of like, what, 35? It's like, no. Fat acceptance is self-destructive. Fat acceptance is telling a drug addict that they're perfectly okay, basically overdosing. Right? That's what it is. If you hate fat people, you will push fat acceptance. That's how I view it. Right? But again, I hate it when people say, oh, you're not fat, you're fine, you've got nothing to worry about. I am fat. I'm not anorexic. I am fat. I've been thinner, and I've been fatter. I'm not as fat as I used to be, and I'm not as unhealthy as I used to be. I'm nowhere near as fucking depressed as I used to be either. Like, it's a factor, it still affects me, but nowhere near it used to be. It used to. But I could also be healthier, and happier, and more attractive. I have been in the past. I've never been a fucking supermodel, but I have looked way better than I do now because I've lost weight and my skin's been better. Everything's been better by losing the weight. This isn't societal pressures telling me that I'm an ugly piece of shit or, you know, all this kind of thing. Quite frankly, people are the opposite. I don't have society telling me I'm a piece of shit. I have society telling me I'm perfectly fine the way I am. I just disagree. I think they're lying to me out of they're killing me with kindness. Essentially, just what the fat acceptance movement does. They're killing me with kindness. They're so conflict avoidant that they would rather tell me the happy lie of you're fine than tell me the uncomfortable truth of like, yeah, we knew you when you were thinner. We met you when you were thinner. You looked better. Your general mood was better. Like, you don't have to go that. What I would like to hear when I moan and confide in people about my weight is not just them validating that my concerns are legitimate, but them sharing their own struggles with weight loss, because it's fucking universal. Like, very rare is the individual who hasn't struggled with their health or weight, right? And even if you're being someone who's been thin your entire life, you've probably struggled keeping up with exercise or eating as healthy as you think you should, right? It's a universal thing. So instead of going, oh, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not fat, go like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. I've freaking struggled with this shit. Like, I've tried all kinds of different things, and it just sucks. It's so difficult. Like, that is honestly the kind of thing I want to hear. Like, admittedly, I want it to be genuine when people say this. I don't want people just to tell me another lie just to appease me. I want it to be genuine, but it's just like, I would much rather somebody share with me their struggles than somebody going, oh, you're fine. Let's just ignore this and move on. This is uncomfortable. Like, it's essentially invalidating my own concerns, my own worries. That's like, because people are uncomfortable with possible negativity. That's all it boils down to me. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the gaslighting. I don't like the lying. I don't like that, the happy lies and all that kind of thing, because they're not happy lies. I know the reality. It's like, this is why affirmations don't work. Affirmations do not work, because if you constantly tell yourself, you know, let's see, for my case, it would be, I'm thin, I'm thin, I'm thin, I'm thin. All that does is reinforce the fact that I'm not thin, which basically has the opposite effect of what you want it to do. So in practice, affirmations, all they do is reinforce your insecurity. Because if you tell yourself something you know isn't true, you really don't believe in, you're just reinforcing the opinion you have, the actual opinion you have. But if it is something that is actually true, you don't need to affirm it because you know it for a fact. You don't need to affirm these things. For example, for me, I know I'm a good person. I do. I know I'm a good person. I know the whole adage of, oh, good people don't have to say that they're good people, but it's not something I, like, say all the fucking time, but I know this because of the actions I take on my day-to-day life and the kind of person I am and the kind of things I would do for people and that kind of thing, like, just naturally, unprompted, right? I know these are traits that I have that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they make me a decent person because every single time I do one of these random little acts for kindness for people just in my day-to-day life, people are shocked. Why are they shocked? Because they're not used to it. People are used to expecting the worst out of others. So when someone just does something for no, you know, selfish reason whatsoever, just because doing good is in their nature, people are shocked by that. They're actually weirded out by it a little bit. That's how I know. I don't need to affirm that. I know it. You know, it's just one of those things, but it's just like, nah, like, this person was essentially saying, I'm still ongoing, this person is essentially saying that there's no such things as good food that is good for you and food that is bad for you because they have mental health issues around food. That's essentially what they're saying. Whereas, to me, in my mind, it's basically like saying, well, walking isn't good for you because some people can't walk. It's like, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about you. Like, if you cannot, like, just outright cannot eat healthy because you have mental health issues, if you cannot at all be healthy because you have mental health issues, that doesn't mean that those general rules that apply to pretty much everyone, like, don't stop being true because they apply to you as well. You just have mental blocks to stop you, right? So either you physically cannot do something or you mentally cannot do something, but that doesn't change the general rule for pretty much everyone else. You know, if a person, a wheelchair, like, came up and started saying walking isn't a healthy act because every single time they tried to do it, they went flat on their fucking face. Like, it doesn't mean it's not healthy. It just means this doesn't apply to you. You can't do this. That does not mean walking isn't healthy. It is, objectively. You just have circumstances that you can't do that. You know? And it is just, yeah, it's like me with exercise. It is just the same thing as me with exercise. The difference is, I don't go around telling people that exercise is bad for you, because it's fucking not. It would be good for me if I could get around those mental issues, right? Exercise isn't bad for me, it's good for me. I just have issues with it. That's it. Like, even if it doesn't release the happy chemicals in my brain, it's still good for my body. I just struggle with it. I have issues. That doesn't stop it from being good for me. You know what I mean? You know, people can't wrap their heads around this, because everything is them. Everything is them as individuals. The whole idea that something can apply to the majority of people, but not apply to them, it just doesn't compute. People just seem to work in terms of me. Everything is just me projecting on the world, and extremes. You know, like political extremes, like somebody's either far left or far right. If you're a moderate, then you're probably part of the other side. And what's moderate? Normal fucking person. A normal fucking person. Even someone who is entirely left or entirely right, they can be moderate as well. But there's plenty of legitimate, like, sane ones out there. You know, they're typically not the kind of people you'll find on Twitter, but or Blue Sky for that matter, but they're out there. You know, but all you ever hear about politics is extreme bullshit on either side. That's it, all it is. And it's the same thing with this food. We've gone from, we've got, like, these heavily restrictive people, like, I forget his full name, but this Eddie guy, he's this black guy from England. And if it was up to him, the only things anyone would ever eat would be eggs, steak, avocado, and liver. That's it. That's all you did ever eat. Nothing else. Or what about fruit? Fruit's good for you. No, fruit isn't good for you because fruit contains sugar. And apparently Eddie believes that sugar of any kind is exactly the same. So if you have a bar of chocolate, or if you have some honey, or if you have an apple, it's essentially exactly the same thing, you know? Ice cream versus watermelon, exactly the same thing. I'm like, come the fuck on, you retard. But no, like, that's There's so many people like that in the fitness industry, and their entire thing is to guilt people and fear people into following their programs. That's it. You see this shit all the fucking time. And how many of these guys are on steroids, including him? Pretty much all of them. The Liver King was a big one from a few years ago. They're all on steroids. They're all cons. None of them are legit. Now, you can find good information, like, legitimately. Liver, really fucking good for you. Steak, good for you. Though, it might be a good idea to cut off at least some of that fat, depending on the side. But fat isn't inherently bad for you. It's moderation, you know. You know for yourself if you pay attention. Eggs, fucking brilliant for you. Avocados, they're good for you. Healthy fats right there. Everything he lists, really fucking good for you. But just having that is stupid. You need veg. You want fruit. Especially if you're the kind of person that has sugar cravings. Fruit's brilliant for that. Because I don't give a shit what retards like that say. If you have a problem with things like ice cream or chocolate or anything like that, having a bowl of, like, grapes and other kinds of berries like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, you know, a little bit of yogurt on top of that. Starting off, you can have sugar yogurt, and then later on down the line, you can wean yourself off that for something with less sugar. Just make sure that when they remove, just keep in mind, this is something Eddie says as well, that's very true. When they remove sugar or fat, they replace it with something else that's typically worse for you. So just keep that in mind, right? It's not cut and dry, and there's a lot of sales tactics out there that try to take advantage of this, like, healthy living mentality, where quite often you buy something that's being sold as healthier for you, and it's the exact opposite. A lot of these fake sweeteners, for example, are bad for you, or we just don't know how bad they are, or we don't know what the effect they have on you right now, because a lot of people say, oh, stevia is fine because it's a plant. Yeah, so is sugarcane. And we know how bad that can be for you. So just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good. You know, poison ivy's fucking natural, but I wouldn't recommend eating it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like, if you're somebody with sugar cravings, there are healthier alternatives. Now, are there even healthier ways of eating than that? Yeah, but if you want to make changes, you start off with reasonable changes that you can actually do, and you build from there. Like, I saw a video today of a guy that makes me look thin, like a massive fat guy, and he was celebrating because he could get up without using his hands. He could hold a bar, you know, he had some extra strength in his hand. The fact that he can do that, and he's worked on doing that, and he's on the way to losing weight, that's fantastic. He's doing well. He deserves the praise. Yeah, he doesn't look like a fucking twig yet. Who the fuck matters? He's doing it. He's lost weight. That's good. He's on the right track. Keep going, my man. Like, that kind of thing, right? That's the kind of body positivity you want. We don't want to only praise people when they hit the end. We want to praise people when they're on the right track, right? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than you were. But again, it is like one extreme or the other, where we just completely ignore everything, or we over-focus on everything. People can't have that nice balance, and it drives me nuts. But, yeah, it's like, it is with everything these days, which, ironically, is a very extreme statement in and of itself, so I'm guilty of it, but nah, it is within a lot these days, and it does drive me nuts. People just can't be moderate or balanced on anything. It is like one extreme or the other on pretty much everything. Which, yeah, as I say, the irony of that statement. But no, I just wanted to record this video and kind of upload it in a more, in a kind of casual way, just to get these thoughts out. Like, I'm struggling with my weight. I have been struggling for a while. It's no longer an autistic special interest, so because it's no longer an autistic special interest, it's inherently a hell of a lot harder for me, because it's just like, I'm not hyper-focused on it all the time. You know, I'm more likely to make decisions that I wouldn't have made a few years ago, so I'm struggling, but I would be happier and healthier if I lost weight. So, you know, I want to fit back into my leather jacket again, dude. I miss that fucking thing. That thing was like a part of my body at one point. It was like part of my core self-identity. So not being able to wear my leather jacket anymore fucking sucks. I need that thing used to fit me perfectly, man. I need to lose the weight. But anyway, again, hope you've enjoyed this. Bye for now. Yeah. Walking's bad for you, because some people can't walk, apparently.